What's your opinion on the Chinese financial crisis and how it affects the United States?
Oh, boy, you ask hard questions. The Chinese situation is closely linked to Europe and America, and probably also to Russia. The world financial situation is, to put it frankly, a mess. It's difficult, I think, for the average person to understand how bad things are and how we got into this situation. China's basic entire economy functions on products that they make for export to the rest of the world. Most world economies are sort of based on what people in their own countries need to produce for themselves. This is primarily, of course, agrarian food products, clothing, housing, and things like that. The Chinese economy is different in that a very large portion of their economy is based on exports of inexpensive clothing, electronics, assembling and producing products for Western nations. This makes the Chinese economy very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very infectious to situations occurring in North America, South America, and in Europe. If the economies in Europe and America and South America become weak, the exports that Chinese produces start to fall. This is what's happened. American and European consumers are not buying at the same rates that they were 5 years ago. And as they have reduced their purchases, the Chinese economy has begun to falter. I think this is a principal, certainly one of the principal problems that's affected China and is affecting us. Today, the entire world is in the beginnings of an economic collapse. Let me put it in terms that are simpler to understand in America. We have a national debt of $18.6 or $18.7 trillion. This is according to federal information. This information is wrong. It's not correct. We have $4 trillion that were issued by the Federal Reserve beginning in March of 2012, $85 billion a month, and then beginning a year later, reducing that to $55 billion a month in quantitative easing, the weird description of issuing money that's backed by nothing from Ben Bernanke. On top of that, there is about another $16 trillion of funds that have been loaned to the big banks off the books. So the actual national debt is about $39 trillion. On top of this, we have future obligations of just over $200 trillion. This would be from now until 2020 or so. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the various social programs, military expenditures, all of this sort of money that has been promised to be spent over this period of time. I think when you look at this and you see that the American economy, our entire economy, our gross national product, is about $14.7 trillion, you can realize that this money cannot be repaid in our lifetime. Massive changes are going to take place. My guess is beginning in fall of this year. These changes can be subjects of another video, and we can discuss those at a later date.